How many of you played sports when you were younger, or how many of you are playing sports right now? You know, in sports, whether it's individual or whether it's a team sport, there's always someone that you're competing against, and there's always someone that's either better than you or not as good as you. And I love that competition. I love going out there, trying my best, and trying to be the best in whatever I'm doing against other people. Whether it's an individual sport or a team sport, there's always an opponent and there's always someone to go up against, you know, and I love that competition. I love going against somebody and trying to beat them and trying to be the best at whatever I do. On the other hand, I do hate losing. I'm not a sore loser, but I just hate losing in general. Winning is a lot more fun. With sports, competition is great, I think, and we as humans kind of instinctually seek a hierarchy in most of the things we do. You know, it's who can throw the ball the furthest, who can shove the most hot dogs down their gullet, or who can hit the nastiest belly flop from the highest height. You know what I mean? We instinctually seek to see who is the best at whatever it is, regardless of how weird it is. While competition is necessary and should be enjoyed and embedded in our culture, I do think that there's a boundary there in which it goes from necessary and enjoyable to detrimental to our mental and physical health. I do question the importance of a belly flop contest or a slap contest. Like, if I see it, will I watch it? Yes. If I see it, will I enjoy it? Absolutely. I guess, you know, it's just a small price to pay for our enjoyment. Aside from sports and life events that have you directly competing with another person, there should be no reason why you compete or compare yourself to other people in their journey of life. You know, you're your own new unique individual who was born in this world, and there's only one you. So what are you doing comparing yourself to someone who's completely different? It's easy to look at someone else and compare yourself to them, and it's easy to look at your shortcomings physically, and it's also just as easy to look at your shortcomings mentally. It's almost instinctual, and it's something that humans have a very bad habit of doing. As easy as it is to negatively perceive yourself in the eyes and the lens of another person, it's just as easy to equally forget the good traits that you do have. And it's also easy to completely forget that you have good traits, and it's kind of easy to believe that you're pretty much just riddled with weaknesses when you're comparing yourself to other people. It's almost instinctual to negatively compare yourself to people rather than positively. You then start a negative thinking cycle in your head about why you're not like a certain person. You start berating yourself as to why you don't have those qualities that another person has. And then you sit in your room and you cry all alone by yourself, and you feel sorry for yourself. Like a little bitch. Sorry, yeah, individual. It's really the worst way to go about situations, because not only do you not change anything about yourself or your situation, but you start negatively speaking about yourself, and you start really kind of speaking to yourself in a very nasty way. And that's horrible, because eventually that's kind of how you perceive yourself, and that's how you're going to view who you are. And then now you're just crying in your room alone, and you don't believe that you're anything really special. You'll start to think that you only have weaknesses, which really isn't the case. In this sense, trying to compete and compare yourself to other people is pretty terrible, and you really should never do it, you know? You start to lose your sense of self, you start to lose your own self-worth and your own self-value, and comparing yourself to where you're at in your journey compared to other people is pretty pointless and really doesn't have any value whatsoever. Your journey and where you're at in your life is a you thing and you alone. But like I said, humans do love competition, and we do love being the best at something. So the question then becomes, how do we satisfy that urge? We compete against ourselves, and we try to be better every day. We try to be a little bit better than the person we were yesterday. Jordan Peterson says that we should be comparing ourselves to who we were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. He says not only to focus on you and you alone, but to only compare yourself to who you were yesterday, and compare yourself to you, the person that you are, because that's the only person that you really should be competing against when it comes to physical, mental, spiritual self-improvement and the likes of that stuff, and improving in your own self-improvement journey. And I touched on this a little bit in a previous episode, which I'll link right here. If I know how to do that. I don't know if I know how to do that. If it is here, then it's here. If it's not, then I'll put it in the description. Try to be 1% better every single day than you were yesterday. Time always moves forward. Time waits for nobody. And you really shouldn't either. You know what I mean? Like, if time's moving forward, you should try to move forward as well. If not, you're just going to get caught back here and you're going to be left in the dust. But as we know, shit happens, life happens, setbacks happen, and it's just how it is. You know what I mean? Life loves throwing curveballs. But at the same time, if we can understand the fact of trying to be a little bit better every day, you know, we don't always take steps forward. Sometimes we take steps back. You know, we might take one step forward one day, 2 steps back the next. Now we're 2 steps back. If we can realize and understand, oh, damn, like my baseline's over here, I was a little bit better yesterday, then it's much easier for us to be like, okay, like I can push through, I can be who I was yesterday or try and be a little bit better. And it always gives us that ability to reach for something to improve upon. You know, you don't just get caught in that negative feedback loop, taking 1 step back and then you're like, oh fuck, I took a step back, and then you take another step back and now you're like 30 steps back. If you always have something to compare yourself to, which is you can always have a bar to set. Our past selves are a great way to hold ourselves accountable. I do this all the time and in all aspects of my life, but especially in the gym. You know, I track all my sets, I track all my reps, and I track all the weight I use in this spreadsheet and shit. So when I track all my stuff, the next week that I do it, I go into the gym, I'm like, I better hit these motherfucking numbers or at least match them, because that is my baseline now. You know, so it not only helps me effectively progressively overload, but it helps me to mentally be like, okay, this is what I was doing last week, so this is my new bar. You know, this is where I'm at. Does it always happen? No, it doesn't. You know, there's a lot of factors that go into it. And, you know, stress, lack of sleep, lack of food, lack of mental fortitude, whatever it is, sometimes, you know, shit happens. And you don't get what you did last week. But I realized that, and I'm like, okay, it's okay. Next week, I'm going to do even better. I'm going to be 1% better the next day. And that's just kind of how it goes. And before we know it, we'll be 100% better than the people we were before. And a lot of the weaknesses that we were berating ourselves over became our strengths. And a lot of the people that we were comparing ourselves to no longer seem that out of reach and that much better than us. You know, you'll find that you have this new air of confidence about you when you start comparing yourself to only you. I'm not saying I don't believe in competition. Like I said before, I love competition. I love competing against other people and trying to be the best, you know. But unless you're shoving hot dogs down your gullet and trying to fucking shove as many... Hey yo.
What did he say?
But for the most part, unless you're shoving hot dogs down your face, then just do you, bro. So let me know what you think of this video. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I'm interested to see what you guys think, and I'm interested to kind of chop it up with you guys in the comment section. So if you did find this video enjoyable, or you kind of like the idea or the message, check out some of my other videos. I would definitely appreciate it, and I can't wait to hang out with you guys next week. Peace.